This is James Arnold Taylor, voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Welcome to a more civilized podcast. This is the podcast you're looking for. You may not go about your business. Stay here, listen, and then move along.
Well, hello there, listeners. It's Kyler.
And Chris.
And Ross. Back in our normal, almost sound quality glory.
We finally convinced Ross to rebel against the tyrannical government and the Empire, and now we're rebelling because we're rebels, and that's what we do, right? That's what Jin or so said.
But now that they're doing that, I had to go, whoa. If you're all doing that, I'm staying over here then.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to rebel against the rebellion.
Yeah. Don't join, right?
That's right.
Oh,
free,
man.
Don't join.
Ross, I believe you have some news for us.
Some what kind of news?
Just regular news.
What kind of news is it, Chris?
It's newsy news,
It's
Ross.
the newsiest ever.
Welcome back to the newsy news.
You're the worst.
You can't take this from me.
Except we did for 2 episodes.
That's right. Mostly. I mean, it wasn't uncontested. But
we won.
Yeah.
We won the battles, Ross, but we lost the war.
That's right. And boy, do we have a pile of news today. Which, by the way, I hope you all have been watching Rebels. Not Rebels.
You mean Clone Wars?
Clone Wars.
Yeah. Dang.
I have
It's
been, but not
so
season
good.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah, these episodes today were quite
really
fantastic.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm working my way there. I'm almost done with season 4.
I have.
So the final episode airs this Friday. Oh no, sorry. The penultimate episode is Friday, and then the final is Monday.
Yes,
May the 4th.
May the 4th.
So
I have opinions. I mean, my major opinions are on the Maul Ahsoka fight.
Beautiful, gorgeous. Yeah, Ross, it was beautiful.
See,
it might not be like technically,
well, I'm conflicted.
Or whatever.
I'm conflicted. So here's the thing.
Should save it for the Nerf nugget.
They got Ray Park and some other woman that I saw on Twitter to actually do motion capture for the fight. So that was actually Darth Maul.
Great.
Yeah, and you could totally see.
Tell,
yeah. But see, that was also part of the problem, is that the fights of Clone Wars have always been so stylized, and then to actually have them so normal. For me, it was just a little bit jarring, because I was like, wait a minute, that's not right for this style. I realized that's something that only I would see. Yeah. Sorry?
I remember when we first conversed about this happening, about that they had done that with Ray Park, that was your concern, is that it would be jarring to see that.
Yep. I mean, and there was a mixture, because of course, you can't just do straight mocap, especially for when you're know, fighting the way that they were.
But some of his flips and stuff, when he lands, you could tell, like, I remember thinking, holy crap, that looks realistic. Yeah. Good job, guys.
Well, yeah, anytime his feet were on the ground, I think even if it wasn't ground, it was him. Yeah. But anytime that, he was doing anything really flippy, of course, wasn't.
Well, no, he did one of his little, like, flip up and around, like he does in episode 1. He does one of those, and I remember watching him land and just seeing like the legs bend in a really like realistic way, just kind of like taking that energy and compressing it, and then coming back up into another hit. And I'm like, wow, that looks real. You guys are awesome. Yeah, I'd actually completely forgotten that they had him do mocap.
Anyway, on to our actual news, because that was totally unscripted. So we have several items from the other series. What's the plural for series, Chris?
Series is plural.
Yes.
Series it's like scissors. It's one of those. There is no plural.
No plural.
There's no singular.
It's plural and singular. Okay. Anyway,
so we have series. Series is both plural and singular.
Right. So to start off with the Cassian Andor series, it has been announced this week that they have cast a couple actresses were the headliner for this article that we have here, but it also mentioned that there were a couple other casting decisions made as well. I didn't know anyone's name, and the only thing that helped me out was they said that one of the women for the Cassian Andor series was the same one that played Mon Mothma. So, Mon Mothma's back.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Other than that, everyone else was... Sorry, Chris?
Oh, I'm just saying I recognize her now that I'm looking at the article, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird when she has...
I'm excited for that, though, because that means we might actually get Mon Mothma as a character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because in Return of the Jedi, she's literally there to expose some plot in like 3 sentences.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not much more than that in the prequels.
Yep.
And she's about that in Rogue One.
Yep.
And in Rebels, we get the one episode with Mon Mothma where it's like, okay, so we're scratching the surface now of who you are. So it'll be cool to see a little bit more of that.
Yeah. And hopefully in more situations than arguing with Saw Gerrera.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true, because in both Rebels and Rogue One, the most we saw of her was just as the foil to Saw Gerrera.
Basically, yeah. But, I wonder also if they'll get Forrest Whitaker to come back and do some cameos. Well, actually, I guess they wouldn't have had any interaction. It sounded like Cassian in Rogue One, that was the first time they'd met Saw.
Yeah. Well, but that doesn't mean that you can't have Saw doing things, because Saw was a part of the rebellion before the split.
Yeah.
So,
do we know when is the Cassian Andor series taking place in regards to that? Do we know?
I don't know.
It is set 5 years before the events of the 2016 movie.
So that's Rebels timeline.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yep.
And Saw has split from them already by season 3.
Right.
So, and it seems like he might have already been split for a minute.
Sometime. Yeah.
So yeah, he'll probably be split then already, I guess. But that doesn't mean, again, there can't be interactions.
Yeah. So, look forward to that when it comes out. Oh, then I just reread our next news note, which actually was about Clone Wars, and so we did do that.
Hey!
So that was actually scripted. Hooray for us. Onwards and upwards.
Might be out of order, but we get there eventually.
I can guarantee you I will hit all the points. Maybe. Next we have...
We're only adequate after all.
That's right. We have a new Star Wars series that has yet to been unannounced, as far as I'm aware, that is being led by, her name is Leslie Headland. Also someone that I didn't recognize the name of. I guess she had done a series called Russian Doll on Netflix, which is her kind of claim to fame. The article goes through and lists several things.
Sleeping with other people.
Yeah.
And she's had a couple. Bachelorette was one of her other big ones.
And see, is that a movie? Or is that like the TV series?
It was a play and then a movie.
Okay.
And then she had a film, Sleeping with Other People, and Russian Doll was her first TV series that she worked on.
Cool.
And it was her and it was Natasha Lyonne and Amy Poehler.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. And it's apparently... Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh. It's apparently said to be... The series will be female-centric. So we have more females to add to the pantheon of Star Wars.
Yeah. I'm really intrigued by that one.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys have ever seen anything about Russian Doll.
Mm-mm.
It's one I had heard about and was always like, oh, maybe I'll watch that at some point. Like, it's on my radar. I don't know if it was officially on my watch list, but it was close. But once this news broke, I was like, that's weird. Like, that's the weirdest, directorial writer choice that Lucasfilm has thrown at us since Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
Like, easily. Yeah. That might be weirder than Rian Johnson. Like, this is like being like, hey, we're going to do a big Bollywood musical that is like a Roger Rabbit Bollywood musical. And it's going to be written and directed by Kenneth Branagh. Like, what? I mean, obviously he knows what he's doing, but that is just a bizarre choice.
Yeah.
So I went and picked up... We're recording right now on Saturday. I went on Thursday and was like, you know what? I'll watch the first episode of 2. It's an 8-episode season, and I'll just watch the first that. So I watched the first half of the season Thursday. I watched the second half of the season yesterday. I watched the whole thing. I loved it. I don't necessarily recommend it. It's a certain taste, but yeah, it's definitely gonna be. I can't picture a Star Wars project from her that wouldn't be something really different. So I'm intrigued by that.
Yeah, when I saw that list of things that she had done and how most of them were, relationship and romance based, I was kind of, about it. But I know that, people aren't necessarily tied to the things that they've done in the past. But,
True.
So I almost wondered if they were thinking about going that way because it was going to be an all female centric thing. But I think they might have more issues if they did that. They'd have more people complaining. But...
For me, it was more of just a stylistic thing where it's just like, yeah, that is... Russian Doll is dark. Like, it's basically a Groundhog Day plot, but way more morbid, way more existential. Like, it's it's some intense stuff.
So
and
maybe...
it starts out as like dark humor and veers into like almost like cosmic horror. Like it's unsettling. Like that, some of those episodes would genuinely like, that is just straight up, that was a horror episode. It was intense.
So maybe what we'll get is the combination of two things we've been talking about: this Star Wars romance, but rated R.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. When I said that, I was thinking maybe violence, but like, oh no, that could actually.
Yeah.
We'll get to see some of those Valentine's episodes play out.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. We'll see how that goes.
I'm super intrigued by that.
Yeah. Also, we have some Mandalorian news. We have Giancarlo Esposito giving some interviews about this upcoming season, which I believe has wrapped. I think I read that it is wrapped and is coming along. Have they announced a release date?
It's just fall, like October 2020.
Yeah, nothing further than they already had.
So probably like last year.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess Giancarlo was talking to IMDb. I didn't realize they did interviews. Talking about his time on The Mandalorian and how that he really gets into his role this season, in particular with a particular weapon that we've seen him have.
The Darksaber.
The Darksaber. And apparently, in talking to them, he says he's broken like 3 of them. And which, I mean, if they're anything like the movies, they're pretty decently hefty sparring swords that they use. And he was saying in the interview that like the people keep telling him to pull as in like pull his
your
punches.
Yeah.
And I guess he's just not about that life.
He said something. He's like, I'm not going to pull. I'm coming at you. Let's do this. And like, we'll just go to town on the guys.
I both respect that and feel bad for the stuntmen. But so that'll be interesting. I mean,
I'm excited. I mean, if there's that level of intensity in season 2, that'll be pretty fun.
Well, and it's we've seen, non-Force users wield lightsabers in the cartoons, but it'll be interesting to see what they'll do with the more realistic medium. So, because even in the cartoons, those with the lightsabers still look like Jedi, even though they're not. Yeah. We'll see if they keep to that. Of course, it is also Filoni still, maybe anyway.
Well, kind of Filoni. I mean, it's Favreau, but Filoni's directed a few episodes.
But I mean, I feel like those guys are Troy and Abed at this point.
Oh, I love it.
So, anyway, and finally, we have, in non-TV related news, we have a letter to fans from Mark Hamill that has been released this week. I guess it's apparently going to be included in the 27-disc Blu-ray box set for the Star Wars saga.
27 discs?
That's what it said in the article.
Yep.
There's only 9 movies. What are they going to do with the other 18 discs?
I don't know.
Even if there's an entire disc of bonus features for each movie, that's still only 18.
Yeah. Well, and I was wondering if they could be like 4K, but even those, the 4K are still on one disc.
That's still one disc. Wow, that's crazy.
But
I'm going to have to get it, of course, but...
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I don't know.
Dang.
They'll probably start advertising that and what's in it more as lifetime goes on. If they're going to have that many discs, they're going to have several things in it. I wonder if it's just going to be this is everything that's ever been recorded for bonus content for Star Wars sort of thing. Like all the
maybe
all the dev diaries that they did for the prequels and anything they could find behind the scenes for the originals.
That would be cool.
Because like I mean, there's a couple Disney Plus series that are behind the scenes for like the originals.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they would include stuff like that. I would hope so. I mean, if you're gonna end the saga,
Corona, I promise.
You better not. If you're gonna end the saga, I would hope that you'd have a saga ending amount of bonus material to go with it.
One would hope.
So we'll see.
Wonder what that bodes.
Yeah, we'll see. And that's our newsy news. Unless you guys have anything else to say about that.
Nope.
Cool. What are we talking about today, Kyler?
Oh boy. A whole bunch of random weird crap.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Sorry, I had to get my water. We shifted the table before we started recording, so I was out of arm's reach of my water, and I had to go get it.
It's normal spot.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, so, in case you people haven't, realized, Chris is remote, and so I actually have him on the monitors of my computer, but he's still kind of in the same spot he would normally be. We just pivoted the desk around. So...
Yeah. They don't have a camera, though, so I can't see them.
He's just staring at a screen.
He's staring into the blackness of the abyss. Alrighty. So,
the blackness of the dark theme on
how
Discord.
this is going to go, and we're not sure how this is going to go. I'm going to just be reading off weird random facts, and we're going to comment on it until we're done.
Cool.
So, the first is a Cracked.com article from ages ago. 15 in-universe facts that will change how you see Star Wars. So, at its height, the Empire had 25,000 Star Destroyers in its fleet. Asterisk, this is pre-Disney takeover, I believe.
Let's see.
The article's from 2015, but this number, I believe, is from the old EU.
Yeah.
Well, in 2015, a lot of stuff would be old EU, yeah.
Yeah. So, each ship was crewed by 9,235 officers, 27,850 enlisted, and 9,700 stormtroopers. The total number of soldiers serving aboard Star Destroyers, over 1.1 billion. That's more than the population of Africa. That's more than the population, or about the population of India, or, India and China. Not combined, but individually.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people in the Imperial Navy.
But when you think over the span of an entire galaxy, that's not a lot.
Well, but not every planet needs a Star Destroyer in orbit keeping the peace.
But I mean, have you seen that Senate chamber?
Well, yeah.
I mean,
it's a lot.
Then those are the ones that are going to be
25,000. That's still.
Is that how many Senate seats there were?
No. But what I'm saying is, there's not 25,000 seats in that. Well, actually, I don't know.
Maybe
because.
Well, and also,
or like basketball arenas and stuff, they'll have easily 25,000. There might be. Holy crap, Ross! There might be.
Yeah.
But this is also just Star Destroyers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This doesn't count like interdictors, Architens, all your other spacecraft.
Yeah. Well, and only
that one Star Destroyer, that's about 46,000 crew per Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
That's half again the population of our hometown. Like, take every single person in Springville, round them all up, and you're still going to be short about 14,000 to man a Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
But this is also basically anything there except for the interdictor. Because you didn't have Architens back in the old canon. You didn't have a lot of those ships. But...
Yeah, man. Anyway, you guys ready for the next one? This one's crazy.
Yeah.
So, the carbon freezing chamber on Bespin, right? And then Luke falls down the hole, right?
Yeah.
So they did some math and sort of measured like where the carbon freezing chamber is, where's the weather vane, how far did Luke fall. It's about twice the height of Burj Khalifa.
Roughly, I mean...
Which is about a mile.
Yeah.
That Luke fell. And thank goodness for that weather vane, guys, because if he hadn't caught the weather vane, he would have fallen 37,000 miles to the planet's core.
Yeah.
For reference, geostationary orbit around Earth, so like where the space station hangs out at, the International Space Station, is about 22,000 miles.
Yeah.
So he would have fallen to this International Space Station and almost back again.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a little bit of time, I think, to contemplate your impending doom.
Probably not as much as you think, because you would eventually be crushed to a pulp by the time you got anywhere near that.
Yeah, gravity is enormous. But like you think about the what's his face, the Austrian dude who did the highest jump or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was like almost in space. Like he's like the very edge of and it was still like 8.5 minutes or whatever to fall. That's a long 8.5 minutes. I remember watching that fall live, and I was just like, man, that's a long time. Like, if you don't know you're going to be okay in the end.
Yeah.
It's a long time to be like, well, shoot.
Well, and I've just been doing some quick calculations. Now, obviously, these aren't going to be accurate because we're assuming Earth-level gravity, which Bespin would not have. But assuming terminal velocity of a falling body, and if we just averaged it out to Earth's terminal velocity, gravity and everything in atmosphere, that would be a 250-hour fall.
Woo!
So, it might have been fine. That would have been time for them to pull the Falcon up under him, Does he match his speed, catch him there? It's just like, oh no, Luke's falling towards Bespin. It's like, oh, you know what? We got like 50 hours before the pressure gets too bad.
Yeah, and there's nothing between him and anything else, so I mean, you're not going to hit anything.
Oh, man. So, the actor who plays Jango Fett.
Yeah, Tooele Morrison.
There we go. I just wanted to test you guys. He's Maori, right?
Yeah.
Maori, for those who may not know, it's the indigenous people of New Zealand.
Right.
Pretty awesome warriors. They do the haka, right? Awesome war dance. There were 4.2 million clone troopers who underwent the cloning process, right? That means the clone troopers contain 7 times more Maori warriors than there are Maori people on Earth. In fact, the number of clone troopers is almost exactly equal to the entire population of New Zealand.
Nice.
Which is pretty impressive when you think about it, that basically the population of New Zealand was able to effectively create an intergalactic stalemate.
Yeah.
The population of New Zealand and some space wizards.
And, well, yeah, some space wizards, that's true.
But yeah, dang.
Oh, man. We've talked about this one before on the show. Astrophysicist Curtis Saxon argues that immediately after the destruction of the second Death Star, the forest moon of Endor should have been showered by a massive amount of debris. Meteoric explosions, nuclear winter, and chemical changes in the air and the soil should have sent the Ewoks the way of the dinosaurs. Is there something the plucky rebels aren't telling us? Oh, man. Oh,
you mean the terrorists that twice destroyed the Imperial facilities, wiping out millions of lives?
Yeah, exactly. Then there's a picture here, which is actually pretty interesting. We'll probably link this article so you guys can look at some of these pictures. But it's got a bunch of the planets in Star Wars relative to one another, including Alderaan and Earth. Alderaan is modeled after Earth, so it's no surprise that it's about the same size. And then Bespin is just enormous. It's bigger than like Saturn and stuff.
Well, see, I was just wondering what, because Jupiter is still larger than Saturn.
Yeah.
So I wonder where it falls with that.
We should have found that out.
Should have. Chris, look it up. Your computer.
Okay, so if the Empire were to invade Washington, D.C. What?
Because Chris is at the computer.
Give me a second to look this up.
Yeah, well, does that mean that he's this episode Steven?
Fact-checking in real time.
Yeah. I'm sitting here with my computer. I mean, it's either this or play video games while you guys talk. So.
Yeah. Also, no edits this episode, so...
Well, probably not.
Unless I, just start cursing.
Yeah.
Like I've got Tourette's or something. But while Chris is looking that up, I'm going to go ahead and read the other ones.
Who wrote this article?
I know,
The main difference between Bespin and Jupiter is that Bespin is fictional.
Gee, you don't say.
Well, there. Thanks for that info. They're not giving me any size-wise, though.
Boo.
Oh, wait. It is showing me that Jupiter is smaller than Yavin Prime, that Yavin 4 was orbiting. So that's fun.
Wow. Huh. Anyway.
Okay, here we go. Bespin...
AT-ATs?
Bespin is slightly larger than Saturn, but smaller than Jupiter.
Okay.
Yavin Prime is like twice the size of Jupiter.
There we go.
There you go. And AT-ATs.
Well, now
the White House.
Now Bespin isn't as impressive anymore.
It still is impressive.
Yeah,
it's got Cloud City, man.
But I mean, we have a planet in our solar system that's bigger, so I mean,
yeah, but it doesn't have Cloud City. When Jupiter gets Cloud City, I will concede that it's cooler than Bespin.
It has an eternal storm.
Yeah, but no Cloud City from which to observe the cool storm.
Meh.
Ross, come on. Wow. Yeah, Coruscant, the entire planet, is one big city. It's actually smaller than Earth, judging by that picture.
I'd heard that, actually.
It's one big city with a population of nearly 120,000 New Yorks. So about 1 trillion residents. It's a lot.
Not bad.
It's a lot of people.
That is.
Try and get them all to stay inside.
Blue Shadow Virus. I've been resisting making a Blue Shadow Virus joke for weeks now.
Blue Shadow Virus?
Yeah, from the Clone Wars.
Yeah, that's
it's
the
like
one
season
that
1 or 2, something like that.
Yeah, it's been
season
so
1.
long since I've watched that season.
Yeah, I've been really resisting that. I didn't want to be too soon, but now I think it's fine. Go watch the Blue Shadow Virus episode, and then don't freak out.
I think in certain circles like ours, that would probably be okay.
So a race car traveling at 230 miles an hour will exert about 3 Gs on the driver.
5Gs.
5Gs. Yeah, excuse me. Sorry, something covered it up. Freaking like Pinterest putting crap on this stupid phone. It's like some dumb ad thing. I don't know.
Just admit it. You like the doilies.
I do not. No, Pinterest took over my last phone. I'm not sure what happened. Like, I clicked on something and then, like, clicked no, and then it was like, thanks, you're all signed up for Pinterest. I'm like, what? No, stop it! I'm not sure
what it does say here is that while a race car traveling 230 will exert about 5G forces, that's the top speed for a human, the space shuttle only generates about 3Gs at takeoff.
So that's your reference point. Anakin's pod racer, this is ridiculous. Has a maximum speed of 947 kilometers an hour, or 588
Which in
miles.
Real speed is...
Yeah, in real speed, exactly. 588 miles per hour. Anakin would have suffered close to 10 Gs of force. Far more than any human being, let alone a 9-year-old human with no protection.
Well, now wait a minute, though. I mean, Gs are... You feel more Gs depending on your acceleration, not the actual speed.
Doesn't account for the... Yeah, but have you seen where the pod racers take off, man?
No, I mean, looks can be deceptive.
I don't think that deceptive. And it doesn't even account for the wind. Anakin showed no ill effects other than getting a little dirty.
Okay, Wikipedia has the first article that popped up when I searched acceleration speed for a pod racer. Was Wikipedia has the BT-310 Quadra, was Ben Quadranero's, and it had it's the one with the 4 engines, and it had an maximum of acceleration of about 1600 kilometers per hour. Like, it doesn't. That's not an acceleration. That doesn't tell me how quickly it gets to that. I don't know, but that's a really fast.
Hard. Yep, we don't do math.
It's a very fast acceleration, and this one, and it specifically describes that this acceleration was slow for this one.
Oh wow! So in other words, all you listeners out there that do actually math, I would like to actually see if you could figure that out.
Yeah, Kyle, get on that.
Yeah.
Our buddy Kyle, who definitely doesn't listen to this podcast. Oh, maybe he does. I don't know. Kyle's cool and nerdy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
True story.
So according to a research paper from Washington University, I want to know who got paid to write this research paper.
Right?
It's ridiculous. The destruction of both Death Stars will have generated huge economic depression across the galaxy. The construction of both Death Stars would have cost approximately $419 quintillion, and their destruction would have yielded a loss of $515.5 quintillion. This financial loss will be the equivalent to 2.57 million 9/11 attacks, which was $2 trillion each. Which, of course, is still like only a third of what we've lost in like 6 weeks with coronavirus.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, anyway. So there's some reference for you. Jeez. This next one, though, is my favorite. Scientists of the University of Leicester have calculated that the Death Star would require at least 2.25 times 10 to the 32nd joules of power to destroy a planet the size and mass of Earth, like Alderaan. That's about a week's worth of our sun's energy output concentrated in a single beam of imperial tyranny.
Yeah?
And then I love the little subtext. Of course, that's insignificant next to the power of the Force. Oh, I love it.
Which, of course, the logical end conclusion to that quote is that eventually we need to see some Dark Force user destroy a planet with the power of the Force.
That would have been...
Oh, yeah, that's easy.
That would have been in Force Unleashed 3.
Yes.
So Luke and Leia are not the same age, even though they're twins, because of space travel and how relativity works.
Right.
So, depending on... And actually, I would say Leia's probably younger. Here, they have Luke being younger, but Leia did way more space travel than Luke did.
Yeah, why do they say why Luke would have been younger?
Oh, they're just doing it like in the movies.
They're doing a
like,
specific
he goes
trip
from here to here to here to here.
Gotcha.
And they don't have Leia, because Leia doesn't travel as much as Luke in the movies.
Right.
But as a senator who's constantly going from Alderaan to Coruscant multiple times a week...
At least.
She's going to be a wee baby compared to Luke.
So basically what they're telling us is over the course of Empire Strikes Back, Luke lost 1.75 years of his original gain on Leia.
Yeah, exactly. Which also means, in all likelihood, not only was their kiss incestuous, but also maybe pedophilic.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Okay, the entire city of San Francisco could use Cloud City as a parasol. It's that big. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Just San Francisco or like the Bay Area?
It's like just San Francisco. I mean, there's the little like Google Maps like shadow or whatever. But
Actually,
I mean, but that ain't nothing.
I mean, it's not small, but I still envision Cloud City as a lot bigger.
Yeah, it's smaller than like the Independence Day things.
Yeah, the spaceships, the alien ships.
I think anyway.
It is tall enough that it's several miles tall.
Yeah.
Which is why we have such a long fall.
Yep. So lightsabers, they're powered by diadium power cells. This insanely advanced technology. According to Star Wars fan X Zorbies, if Qui-Gon's lightsaber was battery powered, he would have needed 650 car batteries to do this.
Which this being cutting through the door on the
cutting through the door.
Yeah.
On the Trade Federation ship.
Makes me want to try it sometime, guys. Can I borrow some car batteries?
Okay.
Maybe we can get people to donate them.
And Ross's lightsaber. I'm going to need to borrow that, Ross.
We'll break into the AutoZone. And hey, I'll tell you what. I mean, these lightsabers ain't no joke either with battery consumption.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like,
true.
we haven't turned Carrie's lightsaber on only once or twice, and I've replaced the batteries twice.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
So we think something is wrong, but...
Okay.
What kind of batteries do they take?
Just, it's like, is it 3 AA batteries or AAA, whatever the normal kind of your standard size is?
All right, this next one, guys, shows Chewie's charitable capacity. We ready? So, assuming that Wookiees are pretty much entirely covered in hair, right? You know, I mean, we've seen. I mean, Chewie wears basically no clothes unless there's a big bald patch underneath his like shoulder. You know, the
bandolier.
Bandolier. That's the word I was looking for.
Doesn't he switch sides with it sometimes though?
Sometimes.
So I mean, like,
he's
we've
covered
seen.
in
Yeah.
So, we can calculate that he would produce approximately 91 ponytails worth of hair. And since Locks of Love says it takes 6 ponytails to make a wig, a child's wig, Chewbacca, a shaved Chewbacca, could furnish 15 wigs for little children.
Yeah.
I bet he does.
Yeah. He would.
That's probably in his last will and testament.
I bet, yeah.
Donate all his body hair.
Oh, man. So, the Death Star.
Do you think they would have an open or a closed casket in that case? Because a shaved Wookiee, I don't know if I want to see that.
I'm pretty sure Wookiees burn their dead.
Do you think boy Wookiees also have a row of little teats down there, like a piglet? I don't apologize for putting that image into everyone's head.
Oh, dear.
Yes, oh dear.
Oh,
So,
this is an interesting one.
yeah, so the Death Star has a surface area of about 487 billion square feet. Ballparking it. I might be off by a couple. A gallon of paint covers 350 square feet. So, you would need 2.8 billion gallons to give it 2 coats.
But wait.
But wait, there's more. I changed my mind. This is my favorite one on the list.
Right?
Alderaan has a population of about 2 billion people. I think it was actually 3, but whatever. They said 2 billion. The average human carries 1.4 gallons of blood.
Oh.
That makes for a total of 2.8 billion gallons of blood spilled. You could have painted the Death Star in the blood of Alderaan.
Twice.
Oh, it's so good.
Now I want to see a Reaver version of the Death Star.
Oh, dear.
Oh,
that would
dude.
be terrifying.
That would... Can you imagine Reavers with Death Star tech? There would be nothing left.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's true.
Because they would have actually followed the rules for Overlords and used their super weapon frequently.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, they would have.
And now I closed the dang... Oh, no! Fetch! Ah.
Chris, read us our next one.
No, that's it for that list.
Oh.
I've got to go to the next thing.
Yeah.
And I accidentally closed the dang freaking set list. Ugh.
This moment of dead air brought to you by technology.
Here to make your life more difficult. Okie dokie. Here we go. Are you ready?
Yes.
No,
Okay.
I'm not ready.
George Lucas killed Chewbacca. We already knew that, though.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to prove
I
it.
didn't know this, actually. This is, yeah.
Oh, yeah, in a novel like that Lucas approved.
I knew that he died in Vector Prime, the first book of the New Jedi Order, or one of the close to the first.
Yeah. Okay, this is an actually cool fact here. Ewoks are speaking Tibetan.
Really?
Yeah. Sound designer Ben Burt used Tibetan phrases in the Ewok language. He was inspired by the BBC documentary about Tibetan, Nepali, and Kalmyk languages, and later interviewed several native Tibetan speakers. So the Ewoks are speaking Tibetan, Nepalese, and a few other pieces, like bits and pieces of different languages.
Interesting.
Which is way cool.
Yeah.
That blew me away. I didn't know this until very recently.
There's a bit more in there.
Oh.
Also, Nyenum.
Oh, yeah, he's speaking an African language. I can't remember which one.
Tanzanian dialect, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Jawas in the original film spoke Zulu, altered somewhat and sped up. And I can even add to that, Huttese apparently has a smattering of Finnish in it.
Really?
Yeah, my dad speaks Finnish, and I was one day playing Knights of the Old Republic, and I was speaking to a Twi'lek that was speaking Huttese, and he said, "Hello, what are you doing here?" Da 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 da. And my dad suddenly turns around as he's walking by and is like, "Did he just say hello?" And I was like, "Yeah, right here." And he's like, "That was Finnish."
Huh. So, that's cool.
Well, and I wonder how canon that is or was at the time.
That's fair. I don't know how much, but they, at least for Knights of the Old Republic, they did use Finnish for Huttese, and at least one of the songs from that, because I have the soundtrack to that, it has random bits of Russian in the background.
Huh.
It's
That's interesting.
very interesting.
I didn't learn this next one until like 3 months ago. Had no idea. But apparently, Ula, when she's dancing in Jabba's palace before she gets fed to a Rancor,
yes,
there's a Janet Jackson nip slip in there. I had no idea.
I think I had heard about that, but it's one of those things that they fixed in special editions.
No, they didn't.
Nope.
What?
Nope.
It says right here, what's surprising is that reportedly the special edition still preserved this Twi'lek nipple slip, even though George Lucas spent hundreds of person hours changing every other aspect.
I double-checked it on Disney Plus.
Oh.
Really?
It's there.
Oh.
I was like, I never noticed that as a kid. Fortunately, but wow, okay, that's a thing. Director of Captain America created Boba Fett. So there you go.
Wait,
what? Who?
Ralph McQuarrie had some input on the designs for Mandalorian Bounty Hunter. Sure, Joe Johnson is widely credited for creating the look of Boba Fett's armor.
Huh.
And Johnson then became a director and ended up directing Captain America.
Well, there you go.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it says here, originally Lucas planned for Darth Vader to be an intergalactic bounty hunter, but then he became a fallen Jedi instead for the story, but he liked the idea, so Boba Fett was born.
There you go.
Hence some similarity in the initial designs.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is kind of cool. So when it's the carbon freezing chamber, right, and Han's about to get all locked up or are frozen, and then Leia's like trying to get to him, and there's the Imperial officer holding her.
I believe in this scene it's actually
that's the actor who played Boba Fett.
It's when she's shouting to Luke that it's a trap.
Oh no, that's right. Yeah, when she's shouting to Luke that it's a trap. Excuse me. And then he appears later. That's what it was. Yeah. So when she's like, "Luke, it's a trap!" And then like Luke just barely gets to Bespin.
Yeah.
And
there's a guy
and then
her away.
the officer's like grabbing her and pulling her away.
Well, see, and I'm trying to remember, because I mean it's hard to identify without that mustache.
Yeah.
But
yeah, apparently the regular actor that was supposed to play that officer like got sick or something like that. Basically, he wasn't there, and so they were like, "Hey, Jeremy Bullock, get over here. Put on this uniform."
Oh, and
Nobody's
it's funny
seen your
because
face. You can stand in here.
Well, but the face that I have in my head for that scene is the same guy who was talking to Vader in A New Hope. You know, she'll die before she tells you anything. The guy that delivers that line right at the beginning. That's the face that I have.
No, different guy. Yeah, here's the.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sure enough.
But yeah, no mustache, which is pretty weird. But it also, just another tidbit here, continuing George Lucas's casual racism in the original trilogy, Lieutenant Shekel.
Shekel?
Yeah, like Shekel's Jewish, greedy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I was like, Shekel, You know, Lucas, on anybody else I might give him a pass, but with your history, I have to think there maybe is something there.
You're being careless at the very least.
And then he plays an Alderanian pilot later in Revenge of the Sith. So, yeah, pretty cool. Wedge Antilles is Obi-Wan Kenobi's uncle. The
yes,
actors.
he is. I knew that one.
Kind of cool.
And in fact, he tried to convince Ewan McGregor not to do the prequels.
Yeah.
So,
Greedo was a woman. I think we talked about that before.
Yeah.
Early on in the podcast.
I had forgotten that though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on where the country where the filming was done.
Yeah.
So the UK scenes he's Paul Blake, but in the US scenes he's Canadian actor Maria de Aragon.
Yeah.
Chris, not you, because you're looking at this article. Ross, guess which set was the cheapest to make in the original trilogy?
Cheapest to make? In the entire original trilogy?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, no, I'll even in Empire Strikes Back.
In Empire. Now, and also give me a little more detail on what classifies as made. Because, I mean, I know that there was the scene, like, when Luke comes out of the Wampa Cave and passes out. That was just outside the back of the hotel, so it wouldn't have cost anything for that. But that's not really making a set.
I hadn't thought about
that's
that.
That's not a set. It's something that they have to build, though.
So they did actually have to build things.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of the Bespin hallways?
Nope. Inside the Exogorth, the space slug.
Oh.
Because they had the Millennium Falcon, and it was literally black plastic on the floor, black curtains behind the Falcon, and a fog machine.
Yeah. Wow. I should have thought of that.
Yeah, that's what this episode is about. Little gee whiz. If George Lucas had directed Apocalypse Now, we might not have gotten Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because he was slated to direct that. Somebody else got it. Then he was like, fine, I guess I'll try out this fantasy thing while I'm
Francis Ford Coppola, which, I'm glad he got that one because he knocked it out of the park.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, it's Coppola. He's incredible. Han Solo was originally a green-skinned alien with gills. I did not know that.
Yep.
Yeah. Pretty wild. And then Chewie, of course, was inspired by Lucas's dog, the Alaskan Malamute.
Malamute?
Malamute. Yeah, whatever it is. I'm sorry. Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so, although the word Wookiee actually appears first in Lucas's first film, THX 1138, the ad-libbed line, I think I just ran over a Wookiee. And that line of dialogue, in turn, was inspired by a real person, a guy named Ralph Wookiee, who lived in Texas. So, dang. That's cool. Wookiee. Somebody's last name out there is actually Wookiee. Think about that.
That person has kids. Or had kids, probably.
That is craziness.
That means there's a whole bunch of Wookiees running around somewhere. What was the context for that in THX, though? I mean, running over a Wookiee, what was it supposed to get out of that?
I've never seen it.
I haven't either.
I probably should. I'm a bad fan.
Yeah. I mean, it's also been said to have not really been very good.
I know,
but,
although I do like American Graffiti, which was also directed by George Lucas.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, it was last year, I was like, I haven't seen American Graffiti. I profess to like George Lucas. It's apparently pretty good, so I watched it. It was.
Yeah.
It was alright.
Haven't seen it. Heard that, though.
Yoda was almost played by a monkey.
Whoa.
But,
ooh.
Yeah.
An adorable monkey
better.
wearing
Puppet
a mask
was better.
and carrying a cane.
Yeah, that would have been not great.
No.
Of course, Ewok was never spoken in the original trilogy. We already knew that. And then Boba Fett's face is actually visible in the original movies. We talked about that. That's what led me to that other article.
His face?
Where it's the actor's face playing the other guy. I was like, what? No, it's not. And then I clicked on there like, here's the link. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you're cheating. I see what you mean. Of course, we know that one. That I have a bad feeling about this. Is in every movie. It's become a running gag. Yeah, we know that.
Is that talking about post-Disney purchases, where it's kind of like halfway there sometimes?
I mean, it's still there.
Well, but like
No, this is like 5 days after the Disney purchase. this article. So.
Okay, because I'm thinking because the one in Rogue One is halfway there, or does he finish the line? Does K2 finish the line?
No, he gets interrupted.
Okay,
or no, he almost gets there. I think he gets like, I have a bad feeling about, and they're like, shh, quiet.
Yeah, because in Solo, I don't remember that line actually being anywhere. They had the inverse.
In Solo, we
of
got,
it.
I have a good feeling.
I have a good feeling about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And in Last Jedi, we got the happy beeps.
Yeah.
Oh, did we not have a good feeling about this in that one, or a bad feeling about
this?
this?
No, in that one, BB-8 says, "I have a bad feeling about this," but it's in beeps, and that's what Poe is responding to when he says, "Happy beeps."
Yeah.
Which I actually I liked that as a good way to just like, yeah, it's here, but it's different. Let's play with it, because when you're just saying it because we always say it, that gets pretty dull pretty quick.
Yeah, it makes sense when it makes sense, you know, and I don't mind it being in every movie because it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It doesn't feel super shoehorned, but anyway, maybe it's just.
It starts to, for me, it starts to no matter what, where it's just like, yes, we're saying the thing because we have to say the thing.
It feels like that way to me in Clone Wars sometimes.
Yeah,
because they say it a lot in Clone Wars.
It's the screenwriting, the Screen Rant YouTube series that we have, where it's just like his Rise of Skywalker development pitch meeting. That's what it was. Where it's just like, and then he says, I have a bad feeling about this. It's like, he says the thing? He says the thing. It's just like...
Chris would have liked this next one, I think, and it would have been interesting, but it also would have changed.
I don't know how well it would have worked. I don't know how well George Lucas could have made it work.
Yeah. So in a story development session for Return of the Jedi, George Lucas toyed with the idea that after Luke removes dying Vader's helmet, he puts it on and proclaims, "Now I am Vader," and turns to the dark side.
I'd heard that, yeah.
It would have been interesting.
Yep.
I don't know that... I mean, adult Kyler might have liked that better just because I'm a bitter cynic who likes dark things.
But you know what? I don't know. So there was a movie that came out several years ago now. It's Emma Watson, Tom Hanks, Karen Gillan.
The Circle.
The Circle. It kind of ends that way. So what it is it's you're following Emma Watson's character, who she's just gotten this job at this kind of Apple-esque type company, and they're just coming out with this new product of these little tiny cameras you can put wherever, and with that there's like this facial recognition and tracking thing. So the movie is kind of discussing that whole can of worms. But at the very end of the film, Emma Watson has finally finagled things, because she keeps getting promoted to well, spoilers everyone, by the way.
Nobody cares about it.
No one
cares.
And no one should care, because so she gets kind of promoted up the chain.
It is one of the worst reviewed movies of the last decade. Like, it's bad.
Yeah. Well, so Emma Watson gets pushed up the chain because Tom Hanks, who was the Steve Jobs character, takes a liking to her, and he's kind of pushing this thing, and she's in this position to actually like take down the company. She's got proof that they're doing all these illegal things, and she actually does get Tom Hanks and his buddy, sent to prison. But then she just like doesn't care, and everything is still fine, and the company is still doing all that stuff. She just kind of accepts what the company is doing. It really sucked, and I think if Luke were to do that sort of similar thing, it would still really suck.
Yeah. All right, Ross. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you hate Dex's Diner? 10 is just like you would rather like carve your own eyeballs out with a rusty spoon rather than watch that. 1 is like, minor irritation.
I mean, it's the get up and use the bathroom point of the movie for me.
It's like a 5 or a 6.
I mean, 7 pushing an 8.
Oh, wow. Okay. I want you to... Okay, keep that in mind then. Where would you have ranked this? NSYNC nearly made a cameo in Attack of the Clones.
Oh my gosh.
Boy band NSYNC made a cameo in Attack of the Clones at the request of George Lucas's daughter. They were edited out of the final cut. That means they were actually filmed, until the final cut, and then Lucas goes, all right, let's take it out.
And they were in Dex's Diner?
No, just
where were they?
They were just in the movie. It doesn't say where.
In which movie?
Oh, let's see. Maybe there's a link. Hold on.
It goes to Wikipedia, and then cut from Internet Archive. Hold on.
So, I mean, I guess that doesn't matter so much. Like, okay. Well, my next thought was, what about the ZZ Top cameo in Back to the Future 3? I love that cameo. If they could do it like that...
It doesn't even say. It just says a small background cameo.
Small background cameo. And see, I would...
It would have been a musical number. You know it.
It would have to be, right?
It would be Jabba. They
should have brought them back in for the ballad, for the Mon Calamari ballet, and
yeah, it's an NSYNC performance. Oh my goodness!
Wow. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that could go, but I mean, if they were prominent at all, it would be up there with Dex.
It was maybe they were in the background in the you want to buy a death stick.
They could have been, actually. Yeah, that would be a good place for them. Ugh.
So where would you put that?
No, I mean it would be right up there with the diner. I mean,
that's worse than the
par.
diner for me.
Again, I mean, it would depend on how they did it. Like if it was like a Nice Noodles level musical number, yeah, I mean it would be turn it off.
Bye. And then Jabba's like, "Yep, bye." Yeah. Rancor food.
Rancor's eating well today.
Man. Yoda is apparently not a Muppet. He's not considered a Muppet, even though he's Frank Oz.
Because
puppetry.
Muppets are racists.
What?
No, because he's built by a member of Lucasfilm and not Jim Henson Company.
Oh,
you're not
okay.
a Muppet. You're not one of us.
Yeah, so it's a technicality because he's built by Lucasfilm and not Jim Henson. He's not a Muppet.
Racist.
No female fighter pilots in the original trilogy. Apparently, there were initially some, but their scenes were cut, or their little images, whatever.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
You missed the Yoda's toes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry, I thought it was the other one from Yoda, which nobody cares about.
Yeah.
So Yoda apparently in different movies has a different number of toes. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 4.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know. Phantom Menace, Yoda has 3 toes, but in The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and Revenge of the Sith, he has 4.
No word
okay,
about
now hold on though.
Clones.
Which version of Yoda in Episode 1 are they talking about?
It just says in Phantom Menace.
Because they're probably talking about the puppet version.
Yeah, well, that's what was used in Episode 1 was the puppet.
Well, until later when they actually replaced it with the CG Yoda.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So, which was a good choice.
Yeah, Puppet Yoda was...
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like a good idea at first. Original Yoda was a puppet. Let's make this new Yoda a puppet too. But, I'm not sure how you could screw that up. But yet they did.
Well, because, I mean, it didn't look anything like original Yoda.
It was no good. Especially because it's like...
He looked a lot more Muppety.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, it's no good. So Star Wars and 2001 A Space Odyssey, a lot of influence on each other. Partly because maybe they had the exact same production crew. So George Lucas admitted or admired Stanley Kubrick, which is why, intellectually, visually, a lot of things are influential there. And when he set out to make Star Wars, he hired so many people who worked on 2001 A Space Odyssey that the group was referred to as the class of 2001. It was a bunch of people from production and things like that.
And I know in a lot of the behind the scenes things you do see about the design back then, they always mention how a lot of the original designs for the Falcon and the Blockade Runner all looked to 2001-ish.
Yeah.
And George had to come in and be like, no, it's got to be completely different. That makes sense. I didn't realize that was because it was the same crew.
Yeah, and especially the shot of the escape pod getting shot out, that is Stanley Kubrick himself could have, it feels so 2001. This is a travesty, this next one. Not a single piece of clone armor was ever built for the prequels. They were all computer animated, which is such a shame. I did know this, actually. It's pretty silly when you look at it. Qui-Gon uses a Gillette razor for his communicator in Episode 1.
Yeah, they glued some things on. Yeah.
I think I had that razor at one point.
It was a lady's razor.
Oh, was it?
It was.
Oh, I don't know. E.T. was in the Phantom Menace, sort of, which we know.
Yeah. In the Senate chambers.
Tibetan, we talked about that. David Lynch passed on directing Jedi. I'm not sure what he did, though. Chris, IMDb us. David Lynch.
David Lynch. All right, hold on.
Then we can decide if it was a good or a bad choice that he passed.
He passed on which one?
He passed on Jedi.
Alrighty then. Of course, that's why it sounds familiar. David Lynch is Twin Peaks, baby.
Twin Peaks.
You guys ever watch Twin Peaks? Oh, that is weird, surrealist murder mystery crap. Twin Peaks is one of the weirdest things ever
Psych
made.
did a parody episode of that.
Yes, they did.
Okay, so it's a good choice then that he didn't direct.
I don't know. That would have been fun. He also did Eraserhead, The Elephant Man, Dune, Lynch's Dune, Blue Velvet.
Which Dune? The new one or the old one?
Well, it was
the mid 2000 one or the 60
yeah.
one?
No, it's the 80s one. Yeah. So.
Oh, is it 60s?
No,
I'm sorry. Is it 80s?
Yeah, it's 80s.
Wow, they had a terrible art department because I watched that one.
They did. They had a lot of issues when they made that one, and one of the biggest ones was that between 2001: A Space Odyssey, Star Wars, Star Trek, and a lot of others, so much of the aesthetics of Dune so much of the aesthetics of all those movies drew from what Dune had done, and its story beats and all this, that, and the other. That when they were making the movie, they were like, we can't use the plot of this book. It's been done by Star Wars and by Star Trek and by this and by that. It's like, and so they ended up changing the plot around quite a bit to try and make it feel less Star Warsy. But I would predict that we will probably see a little more of the original plot in the new one that's upcoming.
Yeah. Well, man, but still, it was done in the 80s, but it had like Tron-esque visual effects in it.
Yeah, it was done in the 70s.
Tron was done in the 70s? I thought it was still earlier.
The original one? No.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was not up to Star Wars caliber.
Yeah, Tron was the late 70s, I want to say, like 79 or something.
Was it really that late?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tron was one of the first movies to ever use computerized effects.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've talked about this next one before in our episode about David Prowse, which I think is I Am Your Father is what we called it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He's banned. Darth Vader's actor is banned from any and all Star Wars.
Yeah.
Anything.
Was that official?
It's
because you have to be invited to those. Yeah.
Ever. Which is saying something when they're inviting everyone and their dog who's ever been
right
in it.
Because that was the thing, is I thought that was the technicality that I thought we talked about it. We're like, yeah, it's
Ula gets invited to
right.
things, and not David Prowse. Let's be real.
And then George tries to say there's no animosity there. Yeah, right,
yeah,
buddy.
Sure there is.
Right.
Yeah. So the sound of a TIE fighter is actually it's created by combining an elephant bellowing and a car driving on wet pavement.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Foley's weird.
I know. It's so cool, though. Like, how they make the sound. Like, I could watch an entire documentary just on Star Wars sounds.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Sound production in general is just
amazing. The lasers, your little pew-pews, that's from hitting the wire that connects telephone poles to the ground.
Yeah.
That really taut wire.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And this one, I learned this one a while ago, like when I was like a kid and stuff, and so now I can hear the different animals, but Chewie is a whole mix of things.
Yeah.
I love what they said here. Chewbacca's voice is a mix of bears, walruses, lions, badgers.
Badgers.
Apparently. You can hear the walruses when he's like, woo!
Yeah.
Like that chuffing sound, that's a walrus.
That's a walrus, yeah.
And then they finish it by saying, so badgers and other dying animals.
Dying animals.
Apparently.
Ooh.
I didn't know. Yeah. Dying animals.
Wonder where they got those sounds from.
Listen, kitten. Get your golf club ready, Gus. I got the microphone.
No.
Oh, man.
How delightful.
The lightsaber noise comes from the familiar hum of an old television, the picture tube, and the buzz of a film projector's motor.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. You can use Star Wars collectible coins as real money. The tiny South Pacific island of Niue, I don't know if I pronounced that in any way correct, accepts limited edition Star Wars collectible coins as legal tender. That sounds like my kind of place. I would like to immigrate, please. Liam Neeson was too tall for Star Wars. The sets of Phantom Menace were only as tall as the actors, but they didn't account for the gigantic, I didn't realize he was this tall, 6'4" Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
That is tall.
Yeah, he's a tall guy.
That's crazy tall. They had to rebuild all the door frames for Qui-Gon Jinn, which racked up an additional $150,000 in production costs.
Dang.
Oh my gosh.
$150,000 to accommodate Liam Neeson is $150,000 well spent.
I fully agree.
But you'd think they would
agree.
You'd think that just for the most part they just shoot him from the waist up and tell him to squat a little, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Or
Maybe they tried to and Liam Neeson went, Excuse me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Or here's the crazy thought. Maybe check the height of the actors you've hired for your movie.
Yeah, for real.
Just throwing that out there. There are enough fan tribute videos to recreate A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, yeah, sure.
There are shot-for-shot recreations of A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back made entirely of campy fan tribute videos.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
So, like, they'll do, like, little scenes, not that people have done, like, the entire movie, although I'm sure people have.
Yeah.
But you can recreate all of them. It makes me kind of want to watch. Oh, they have a link to those videos. Guess what I'm doing after the show, guys? Jabba the Hutt was originally meant to be furry, which actually, this is news from, like, 1997 or whenever they released the first special editions.
Yeah.
Because they have the fat, chubby
the guy
actor
in the big fursuit.
All the huge fursuits. Yeah.
Was it production costs that made them change that? Just like the fur and the cost of making it was too expensive?
Well, no. From what I remember is Lucas was basically like, we already have one hairy character in Chewie, and I like Chewie, so let's make Jabba something different so that we get some variety in aliens. And then they're like, oh, let's a slug. That'll work. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But guys, I have gone through all of the scenes with Yoda in them from the Phantom Menace now, and I gotta say I can't see how many toes he has in the CGI version.
Okay.
There's only like one shot where you can really see his toes, and they're far enough away that I couldn't distinctly make out how many he's got. He's got at least 3.
Well, and also, like, I think if I'm remembering Empire correctly, they're on all 4 corners.
Yeah, he's like a bird. He's got like 3 forward and then like 1 poking in the rear.
Yeah.
So I wonder if the article writer is just stupid.
Maybe.
That's also possible.
Because that one would be covered almost entirely.
Yeah. George Lucas left the Directors Guild because of A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
I thought it was
fine and resigned from the Directors Guild rather than start episode 4 with a traditional credit sequence.
Yeah.
And changed cinema forever.
Yep.
Yes, he did.
And for the better too, I think. It allows your dramatic movies to be more dramatic by not having an opening credit sequence.
Yes.
Yeah, you can for reals, man. Like some of those old movies, it's like, I like this movie, I'm going to start this movie, and I'll be back in 15 minutes when the credits are done.
You know, and it's funny, because I can understand where the Writers Guild is coming from, is because they want to give credit to those that worked on it before. But I think it's kind of funny for that to be the hill that George wanted to die on, you know? I mean... Screw
you and your credits, I'm out of here!
But, I mean, it was the right choice, but still, it's just kind of...
The opening credits were created. They were created physically and then filmed at a steep angle and then like rolled across.
Yep.
Harrison Ford almost wasn't Han Solo. It was going to be Burt Reynolds.
Well,
and then it was going to be Al Pacino.
There were several.
And then it was going to be Jack Nicholson. And then the kicker, it was going to be Christopher Walken.
Well, and then there was also
Luke. We've got to go to Alderaan.
Should we get us out of here?
There was also
not like Dustin Crops. You'll fly through a star.
Who's gonna fly her, kid? You.
Have you seen the tryout tapes for Han Solo? Some of the other like audition tapes that there were the readings.
No, I've only seen Harrison Ford's.
Because there are several, and my favorite was always I forget his name. He played Star-Lord's dad in Guardians 2.
Oh,
what's his name?
Shoot, I've only seen it once, and I wasn't paying attention because I didn't care because it was kind of dumb.
Chris, what's his name? He's
give me a second. I'm thinking. Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. Yeah, and so I mean, like Kurt Russell read for it, and yeah, it would have been vastly different had he got that part.
So, no surprise to anyone who's actually paid attention to the Star Wars movies, Empire Strikes Back uses the most stop animation.
Yeah.
Because the entire Hoth everything.
Mm-hmm.
The Tauntauns, the AT-ATs, it's all stop
Well,
animation.
the Exogorth also was.
No.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was.
I think so. I thought it was like literally like a sock puppet, like an elaborate sock puppet. When it's like coming out of the hole. I'm pretty sure that's a sock puppet.
Well, let's see what Google says.
What's that? Because I thought I saw... Maybe I'm remembering wrong. Wouldn't be the first time.
We've talked about this before. I think I've included this as a trivia question. But Cliff Clavin from Cheers is in Star Wars.
Yeah.
John Ratzenberger.
Yep.
He's the
mustache.
Come on! Yeah.
Mustache and all.
Yep, mustache and all, and he looks great. And he makes an appearance now in Legion, in your Rebel veterans. They're in their Hoth attire and the leader. As soon as I started like looking at it to see like what I needed to paint and what, I'm like, wait a minute, he's got a mustache. I recognize that mustache. And then I jokingly said I wanted to paint him like in a postal uniform. Right. It would be hilarious.
The Exogorth was a puppet.
Aha!
Because I have a memory of people walking around like a set and it just kind of standing there, like actually sticking up out of the hole. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe there was some dude actually just standing there holding it in that position.
No, yeah, it's a very large puppet.
Yeah.
But no, it is a puppet with the. Yep.
And then, of course, we all know that Han Solo was originally going to die at the end of Jedi.
Right.
And then didn't. So that he could be disappointingly murdered. Actually, well, I don't think his murder wasn't too disappointing in 7.
No, it was good in 7.
Yeah, I thought that was well done.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Man, a lot of tidbits.
A lot of, yeah.
A lot of good. So, that is that.
I'm trying to think of a way to modify that. Tidbits, tiddly bits.
Nope, we're gonna just...
I'm trying to newsy news it. Hold on. I'll get there. Hold on. Wait.
I don't think there's any way to newsy news that wouldn't sound inappropriate.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm saving my joke.
Yeah.
Because Ross can't edit this episode.
No, I mean, I can. It's just more difficult than normal.
Do you want me to?
No. No. No, I do not.
Okay. Well, we certainly hope that you enjoyed this episode.
Indeed.
You can follow us on Twitter at More Civilized, and you can join the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/More Civilized. You can just look for a More Civilized podcast. And also Patreon/More Civilized. Patreon.com/More Civilized.
Yep. Follow us on the social medias. What?
I'm just sad.
Follow us on the social medias where you can find such gems as this one from Emily, who I know I ask this every time. I don't know her last name.
I can't remember either. It's going to be Boswell.
We'll just start that way. Emily Boswell. From
Emily gonna be Boswell, something or other.
That's right.
Hold on, Emily. It's Emily Skywalker. Oh, I'm sorry.
And really, I mean, this shout out is just because of just in general
what
she
finds. Out, or is this meme of the week?
The meme of the week. I'm sorry. You're right. Meme of the week. Because I don't know how she consistently does it. I thought she was making them because I have never seen any of these memes anywhere. But they're always a lot of unique ones. Amazing. Yeah, I don't know where. I'd love to know, Steven, relay that message to us, please. Yeah. The one I'm pointing out in particular is the clips from last week's Clone Wars episodes of Anakin walking out on the bridge. You know, just got his arms outstretched, just like, hey, what's going on? And everyone, like Obi-Wan and Cody are behind him, like all hunkered down behind stuff. The caption reads on Anakin, me having a shower. And then the caption on Obi-Wan and Rex, or on Cody, is everyone else in IKEA. Because they look all surprised. It's funny if you look at it, I promise. It was great. Funny. I know delivery is tough in a podcast format. Sorry, everyone. Anyway, for more failed funny things, you can follow me on Twitter at Random Paladin.
I want to shout out Rural Farm Boy out in Pennsylvania, plugging us every week.
Nice.
You can also find me on Twitter at Itinerant Baxter, and you can find my work at my writing website, writerinthehat.com, where you can find links to short stories and one or two for free.
Very cool.
Well, until next time, may the Force be with you.
Always.
Always.
That was not timed. Oh well.
I'm Anna Graves, and thank you for listening to a More Civilized podcast.
I find that I do a lot of like nodding when I'm listening to someone. So I'm sitting here looking at you, Chris, on the monitor and like nodding and like, showing you that I'm listening. You can't see that. So if I'm ever just randomly silent when you're addressing me, just know I'm nodding, probably.
Oh, no worries. Yeah.
And totally not on my phone.
And as you can see, half the time I'm either nodding or just like grooving.
Maybe we could put that up as like a bonus.
What?
We could just grooving. We could just put up the video of just Chris just there in front of the camera.